not vote. And he did, and he won. Joining us right now are the co-authors of a brand new book. It is great. It's called Shattered: Inside Hillary Clinton's Doom Campaign. We've got Jonathan Allen and Amy Parnes. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
This book is chock full of juicy tidbits about what went on. Who'd you talk to?
We talked to more than 100 insiders in the campaign. This is their story. That's what makes this book really sing. You know, it's coming from inside. It's not some speculation from the outside. We talked to everyone from the highest levels down to the lowest. And, you know, this is the first kind of inside account of what really happened that night in her hotel room at the Peninsula Hotel here in New York. And so we really kind of tell that story moment by moment.
You do, and there are two moments, Jonathan, that people are unfamiliar with, where Barack Obama phoned Hillary not once, but twice.
That's right. So on election night, she and her team are watching the results. They're obviously shocked, dismayed.
Hey, wait a minute, we're supposed to be winning here.
No, she definitely believed she was going to win heading into election night. Her team believed she was going to win. And then there's this sort of slow realization that disaster is happening for them. And they're trying to figure out what to do. One of the White House aides, the political director, David Seamus, places a call to campaign manager Robbie Mook, says the president doesn't want you to drag this out. You need to concede to Trump. That doesn't work. So President Obama calls Secretary Clinton and says, you need to concede. He's not entirely sure that that's worked, so he calls John Podesta, the campaign chairman, and basically gives the same message. I think after that first call between the president and Secretary Clinton, she actually decided that it was time to concede. She called Donald Trump to do that. But then afterward, after the concession
call.
After the concession to Trump, President Obama calls and to deliver that consolation message, and she picks up the phone reluctantly, and she walks away from the table where she's been talking to her aides, and she steps into a room, and as she's stepping into the room, she says, "Mr. President, I'm sorry."
And you write that she's sorry that she has effectively screwed up his legacy.
She's screwed up his legacy. She's let the Democratic Party down. She's let herself down. She's let her campaign down. I mean, this is a real moment of recognition of failure.
Right. There was another phone call, Amy, and that was to Donald Trump.
Yes, and it was actually very short, very sweet, simple. She actually turned to her aide and said, "Give me the phone, let me just concede," kind of thing. She picks up the phone, talks to him. Subsequently, a day or so later, a couple days later, her husband makes a call, both very kind of terse, but polite.
According to your reporting, though, when she was on the phone with him, she was so angry. She couldn't really talk to him, but did because it was the thing she was being told to do.
Well, she was, you know, it was at the moment she was trying to figure out what to do with her speech. She didn't know what tone she should strike exactly.
Sure.
And
she never expected to be calling Donald Trump and saying congratulations.
Because she had spent $1.5 billion. She had the best and the brightest people, but they blew it so badly.
And that's what this book tells the story of, from beginning to end, the real problems with this campaign that begin with the candidate.
One of the big warning lights on the dashboard would have been Michigan. Not a single pollster said Bernie Sanders is going to win, but that was how tone deaf the Hillary campaign was, that they didn't realize that there was this anger building in America, and she completely misjudged it.
Yeah, and we have the scene in the book where the next day she's livid about what had happened there, and she's, you know, she basically goes after her aides and, you know, is wondering what happened. And that's a story that will haunt her, obviously, later on election night when she loses Michigan again.
You know, the easy tell, Jonathan, would have been the fact all they had to do, her assistants, would be turn on the television during the campaign, because she would be in front of 50 people somewhere in some church basement, and he would be in front of 25,000 screaming people. I mean, that says something was afoot.
There was definitely energy for him, and particularly in places that you wouldn't normally expect to see 20,000 people turn out. You know, that's one measure of what's going on. I'm not necessarily somebody who believes that he won because of the crowd size, or that you couldn't win with smaller crowds, but certainly that's a big part of the story. There was serious enthusiasm bipartisan behind Donald Trump, and you saw Republicans come home at the end of the election a lot faster, and we talk about that in the book. You know, the undecideds moved back into the Republican column a lot faster at the end than Democratic undecideds moved toward her.
She also didn't have a message, which I think
other than "I'm not him."
Basically, yes.
Oh, man. The book is great. Jonathan Allen, Amy Parnes. The book's called Shattered Inside Hillary Clinton's Doom Campaign. Congratulations.